Oh, get ready for November football. Big rivalries like the one down in Jacksonville, Florida, taking place on Saturday. Big showdowns like the one in College Station, Pennsylvania, between top five opponents from the Big Ten. Even number one is on the road at the Big House. And of course, Lane Kiffin visits Fayetteville, Arkansas. Big rivalries, big showdown for week 10 of the college football season. Bear down and gridiron starts right now.
I feel blessed, that's evident. I'm the best I've ever been. So if they ask you how I feel, what's up? I'ma tell you I feel amazing. I feel blessed, that's evident. I'm the best I've ever been. So if they ask you how I feel, what's up? I'ma tell you I feel amazing. I feel blessed, that's evident. I'm the best I've ever been. So if they ask you how I feel, I'ma tell you I feel amazing. I feel blessed, that's evident. I'm the best I've ever been. So if they ask you how I feel, I'ma tell you I feel amazing.
Ladies and gentlemen, how y'all doing? As we get ready to close out the month of October and ring in the month of November this Friday, which will begin week 10 of the college football season. Ooh, boy. That means y'all know about November football. When we hit the month of November, all the games get very more interesting now. As we are just less than 8 hours away from Halloween beginning. And then the day after that, on Friday, November begins. So we got a good thing to go on. Now I am back. Thank y'all for those of you who checked in on me, because it was that time of the year and I ended up catching the flu and got sick. But hey, I'm back. Not fully, but I'm probably 85% back, whatever the case may be. But I'm here. Thank y'all for checking in. Welcome to Bearing Down the Gridiron here on the Playmakers Bar Network YouTube channel. If you're watching on the Playmakers Bar Facebook channel, or if you're watching on my personal Down There Playmaker Silence LinkedIn page, thank y'all for tuning in. If you're watching on LinkedIn or on Facebook, go ahead, go to YouTube, hit that subscribe or hit that notification. And if you are here on Facebook, you can hit that follow button on Facebook too, as we get ready to bring you down to the college football realm here on this October 30th on this lovely Wednesday. Now, first, before I get started, shout out to 502 American Angel Radio up in Indiana, and shout out to my big brother Wise Healthy for the Real Wise Radio station, as well as you can hear bearing down the grid of those two radio stations. Now, first order of business is your news and notes, which in our 2-minute drill. And let's begin our 2-minute drill with some action. Penn State quarterback Junior Aller could be a game-time decision in a massive game this weekend in College Station. Or so I say in State College for Pennsylvania. We'll talk about that game against Ohio State later on in the show. But having a starting quarterback will be very vital for the Penn State Nittany Lions. He did not finish the game against, I want to say, Illinois, but Penn State still handled business, got the dub. We'll talk about that in our next segment. But game time decision, a big game time decision for Penn State. Speaking of quarterbacks, Iowa quarterback Cade McNamara will be sidelined with concussion. That is right, Cade McNamara. He'll be missing the upcoming game against Wisconsin due to a concussion he suffered this past week. It's unfortunate he suffered it going against Northwestern. But with that being said, Brandon Sullivan will be in a starting lineup for the Iowa Hawkeyes to see if they can keep their hope alive for a Big Ten title. And by the way, later on in the show, we will go over the standings of the Power Four conferences. So we'll look at the ACC, the Big Ten, the Big 12, and the SEC, and see where teams line up at in the standings as we are closing in November, which the playoff rankings come out next Tuesday. Sticking in the realm of going to the ACC, number 18 Pitt unsure if Eli Holstein will play against 20th ranked SMU. He is coming off an injury. He will be a game time decision. That's whereas Drew Altman for Penn State. We'll see what he goes like with today, tomorrow. They'll make a decision, and Pitt can use him in a big matchup against SMU down in Dallas. Michigan quarterback Jake Tuller retires from football citing health issues. This is one of the things that you don't want to see, but also you understand the situation at hand. Michigan quarterback Jake Tuller announced Monday that he is medically retiring from football. The 7-year senior played 2 games for the Rivalries this year with 1 start. During the offseason, Tuller underwent surgery to repair the uterolateral ligament in his throwing arm. Tuller said the arm didn't fully recover, and he continued to have ongoing issues with his throwing shoulder. Tuller also said that he recently suffered his 5th concussion of his career, said that brought forth the painful truth that I needed to start prioritizing my health, close quote. Well, Tuller, we wish you nothing but the best. We understand the decision that you had to make, and we understand it was a difficult decision that you had to make. But we do say, whatever you do, we hope you be the best at it. And that is a shame that your football career is officially over at this moment in time. Ohio State offensive tackle Mackenzie status is unclear for the Buckeyes. That could be a huge addition or subtraction for Red Howard in the Ohio State offense as we already talked about, get set for that big match with Penn State. And the big news: Florida, Georgia game will be moved during renovations. The annual college football game between the Florida Gators and the Georgia Bulldogs will move to Atlanta in 2026 and in Tampa, Florida in 2027. Now, these moves come about as the Everbank Stadium, home of the Jacksonville Jaguars, will be renovated starting in 2025, going into 2028. Each of the games between the SEC rivals since 1933 was played in Jacksonville, except for 1994 and 1995, when the games was moved respectively to schools, campuses in Gainesville, Florida, and Athens, Georgia, during stadium renovations in Jacksonville. Well, stadium renovations will begin. It says the game will be played at Jacksonville in 2025 before moving to the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta and Raymond James Stadium the following year. this comes out of hand where the NFL owners approved the new renovation for Everbank Stadium for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Renovation will begin in 2025, and the Jaguars will be playing somewhere elsewhere in 2026, 2027 before they come back in 2028. So while they doing that, they also gonna move the Florida and Georgia game to one Atlanta in the next year, Tampa. Can't be mad at that. Right decision to do. To have more people in attendance to fill up that stadium even more and bring more excitement, not only to the Jacksonville Jaguars, but to the Florida and Georgia game and the aforementioned Gator Bowl that is held here in Jacksonville every bowl season. And that will do it for your 2-minute drill. All right, we're going to take our first commercial break here, but when we come back, what took place in week 9 and how did week 9 affect week 10? We'll be back.
Porter to Hades.
Your butt and gut becomes one.
Join the reformer of hooker whores.
This is my daughter, Placenta Booty Johnson.
Join the bronze god.
Whenever you are in distress, take off your baseball cap and throw it in the air.
Join your very own superhero of broadcasting, Chris Bass.
So whatever color crayon they get, they palm it and do 2 circles, and that translates to, I can beat up black people.
As she takes you through the week's paces in Baseline. Live every Saturday at 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Central, Pacific time zone people, just stay asleep when this is on live and just catch the recording. Oh, I'm sorry. Exclusively on the Chris Bass YouTube channel. Drew Willingham.
In this case, yeah, you put the blame on Kyle Shanahan for apparently not preparing the team enough for the overtime rules, supposedly.
Cole Johnson.
Peyton was considered a winner, and he was the darling of all darlings for Gerald.
With a special appearance by Tyrone Alizé McDummy.
Ain't nobody calling me. Text. Delete.
Join these two football enthusiasts as they give you Total Football Talk. Live every Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central on the Sertoba Media and the Comey Media YouTube channels.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Burning Down the Gridiron here on this Wednesday, October 30th, as we close in on Halloween in the month of October and get ready for the month of November. But before we do so, we got to recap what took place in week 9 of the college football season. So let's go Gridiron Roundup. Now, even though I didn't do a show last week, I still put the games that I was looking forward to on the screen on Facebook and on X. So those of you who watched it and seen my picks, you know what games we are talking about. So let's begin on last Friday, October 25th. The 17-ranked Boise Broncos survived Las Vegas and the UNLV ran Rebels 29-24. Both teams had a good offense production, 398, almost 400 yards for the Broncos, 368 for the running Rebels. One turnover by the running Rebels, and that's pretty much all it takes to lose a close game like this one by 5. And Ashton Gentry, that man is making a case for the Heisman. Another game with 100-plus yards rushing, 128 and a touchdown. Can't say enough about this guy that's down in Boise State running, and he was running all over the running Rebels for 128. Good thing to see. You had a pretty decent passing game as well. 33 carries with 33 passing, 209 by Madsen with a touchdown. So pretty balanced attack by Boise State was what you like to see. They moved to 6-1. UNLV dropped to 6-2. But hey, these things happen. Now, from Friday to Saturday, the 26th of October, and we had a lot of games to talk about here, but we only picked a couple we're going to talk about. As you can see here, Ohio State survived Nebraska. Indiana, that's right. The Indiana Hoosiers are 8-0. Okay. Kurt Cinetti's doing a hell of a job up in Indiana. Bloomington was rocking for college game day, and it was rocking during the game. 31-17 win for the Hoosiers. And then the Oregon Ducks, showing why they're the number one team, took 20th ranked Illinois and just beat them down. Beat them good, 38-9. But let's focus on Nebraska and Ohio State. 21-17 win for the Buckeyes. They moved to 6-1 on the season. Very sloppy game for the Buckeyes. Wasn't impressive whatsoever. As you can see here, they started out all right, but it didn't. But you let Nebraska hang around, and there's a lot of murmurs going around up in Columbus, Ohio. 285 total yards to 273 for the Cornhuskers. Both teams had a turnover each. Nebraska controlled time of possession by almost over 10 seconds. I mean, over 10 minutes, should I say, not 10 seconds, 10 minutes. 35-07 to 24-53. Now, before I get going, let me just shoot this up here. The Buckeyes leading rusher had 29 yards. 29 yards. I don't remember the last time that I looked at Ohio State and they couldn't run the ball. We're talking Ezekiel Elliott. We're talking Travion Williams. We're talking Eddie George back in the day. I'm not used to seeing Ohio State can't run the football. Ryan Day, what is going on to where y'all cannot run the football? Like, what is going on here? We need to find something out here, okay? Because y'all cannot run the football whatsoever. Like, let me go deeper into these statistics here to see. Because your leading rusher had 29 yards. That's 29. That's 29, which is problem. Okay, so as a team, you rushed for 31 times for 64 yards. That is 2.1 yard per carry. While Nebraska, on the other hand, will probably explain why they control the ball for 10 more minutes than you. 33 carries, 121 yards. That is 3.7 yards per carry. So you telling me Nebraska can outrun you by 1.6 yards more than you? When does that ever happen to Ohio State? Or should I say those of you are the Ohio State? There ain't no "the" in this one because y'all can't run the ball whatsoever. This is atrocious right here. Very, very atrocious. And Nebraska held the ball for you more than 10 minutes. They just couldn't put the ball in the end zone, which is why you can put up 3 touchdowns, which all 3 come into passing game. Look at where Howard stats: 13 for 16, 221, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. There is some concerns up in Buckeye country because if you can't run the ball, you might not make it to Indianapolis in December. And you might have to go through the playoffs the more difficult way instead of the automatic way. And we know, if y'all heard me when I previewed the Big Ten, how would people look at Ryan Day if this year is no different than the other past years? You have a big one coming up, which I will get into later on. But this right here is concerning, that an Ohio State Buckeye team has no running game. Now let's move to our second set of 3 games. Here we have Alabama shutting out Missouri 34-0. And it was not an impressive 34-0 to say the least, which is kind of odd to say, especially in college football. It was not a very impressive. Okay. Also, you see the Texas Longhorns coming off their first loss of the season, getting a thumping by the Georgia Bulldogs. They went over to Nashville, Tennessee, and they survived 25th ranked Vanderbilt, 27-24. And then before I mentioned Penn State, they went to Madison, Wisconsin, and they handled business 28-13. And the score doesn't dictate or doesn't show how much business they actually handled in Madison, Wisconsin. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about what happened at Tuscaloosa, Alabama. As you see 34-0. You look at it like, well, playmaker. They shut out the other team. They didn't even score. How you say that was not impressive? Why is this not impressive to you, playmaker? That an Alabama team shut out a Missouri team in a rain versus rain matchup. Well, number one. Let me show you this. Now, you almost closing in on 500 total yards of offense. Only 240 for the Missouri Tigers. You say, yes, that's impressive, D. But why is it that time of possession is even? 30-30, right? Time of possession. Damn near even. There's a second difference between the time of possession and is in the favor of the Missouri Tigers. Now, as you see the box score, you will notice that you'll see Payne and not Cook for the quarterback because Cook came in injured. He tried to play it, and he couldn't finish. So they had to bring in Drew Payne, who you want to know why it was 34-0? Drew Payne came in 6 for 12, 42 yards, and 3 interceptions. But you look at Jalen Merrill's numbers, 16 for 26, 215. No touchdown passes. No touchdown passes whatsoever. Hayes, he had a touchdown run with 8 carries for 79 yards. As you see, if you understand what I'm talking here, this Alabama offense is not impressive whatsoever. If it wasn't for the damn turnovers, it wouldn't have been no 34-0. And plus, if they had Brady Cook, they probably would have scored some points, but they didn't have Brady Cook. I think he lasted like a half or a quarter, something like that. He didn't make it to the second half. That's my point. So if I look at this, you had Graham Nelson kick the field goal. That made it 3-0. Then he had to kick another field goal in the second quarter. Then they finally scored Alabama scored their first touchdown with under 2 minutes to go in the first half. So it's 13-0 at halftime. Jalen Merrill ran it in, 9 yards out. Jam Miller, his second rushing touchdown of the game. And then Justin Hayes, 35 yards, 34-0. Alabama's offense was not impressive. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the whole coaching change from Nick Saban to Kellen DeBoer that's making this happen, and it's going to take time, which I'm all well and good for. But when Brady Cook doesn't finish the game, I don't even think he finished a half. Brady Cook was 7 for 12, 30 yards. No turnovers whatsoever. He just couldn't finish. He just couldn't finish the game. Which plays to what Alabama was able to do to the backup, which is Drew Payne. That's what I thought his name is, Drew Payne. Throwing 3 interceptions. Those interceptions led to touchdowns. Those interceptions was what led to Alabama getting points. So I can go to Missouri. Opening drive, Missouri, punt. Alabama opening drive, field goal. Missouri punt, Alabama punt, Missouri punt, Alabama punt, Missouri punt, Alabama punt, Missouri punt. Then another field goal by Alabama. Then another field goal by Alabama. Then you have an interception, the first one of Payne that he threw. That was in the second quarter. Alabama turns into a touchdown 3 plays later. Turnover on downs by Missouri. We go to halftime. Come out. Start the second half. Alabama scores a touchdown. Another interception. Alabama punts. Another interception by Missouri. Touchdown, Alabama. Punt, punt, punt. Alabama touchdown. Turnover on downs. The game is over. Does that sound impressive to y'all? I'm just asking the question because I'm not impressed with Alabama whatsoever. Not impressed. Now maybe it's because they trying to trying to figure out how Kellen Moore does things and trying to figure out this offense. But this offense, it does not look good. It doesn't. Something is missing with this offense. Something is seriously missing. And I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it. Maybe y'all can, but I can't put my finger, but I'm not impressed with the Alabama offense. Just saying. I'm just saying. But now let's get to our third set of games that we want to look at. In this set, we're going to look at two games here. Number one, we have, well, to begin it off, we have Texas A&M defeating LSU in a top 15 NCC matchup in College Station. We have SMU surviving in Durham, North Carolina against the Duke Blue Devils in overtime, 28-27. And our game of the week, our spotlight game of the week, was in East Rutherford, New Jersey, between the 24th ranked Navy, who was coming in undefeated, against 7-1 Notre Dame, ranked 12. Wait till we talk about that game. But first order of business. LSU, Texas A&M. Texas A&M wins 38-23. Oh, Brian Kelly. So let's see what happened here. So you're telling me we had a 10-7 lead for the LSU Tigers after the first quarter. We go to halftime up 17-7. At halftime, then we proceed to get outscored 31-6 in the second half. 31-6. 31-6. That's what happened in College Station, Texas. It's just you just gotta love it. You see 440 yards of offense for LSU. 3 turnovers by the LSU Tigers. Texas A&M, on the other hand, almost 380 yards of total offense, 1 turnover. Nussmeier threw the ball 50 times, 25 for 50, 50% complete half of his passes for 405 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. Texas A&M messed well. We're gonna go to Reed, and they threw 2 passes with Reed. 2 passes with Reed. 2. Now I do think the other quarterback started. Yeah, Connor Winningham. He started the game. He was 6 for 18 for 64 yards. But they went to Marcel Reeves for only 2 passes being thrown, and he only threw 70 yards, which is amazing. That's 35 yards per pass and 2 passes. LSU running game. Where are y'all at? Williams for 23 yards. That's your leading rusher. Like, what was y'all running game, man? I'm looking at LSU. We're talking 23 carries by the LSU Tigers for 24 yards. Josh Williams, 7 carries for 23 yards, 3.3 yards on average. Caden Durham, 11 carries for 15 yards, 1.4 yards a carry. Garrett Nussmeier, 4 carries, minus 3 yards, negative 0.08 yards a carry. And then you had a fumble, which counts against the rushing attack, but you had a fumble that went back for 11 yards. So just wow. When we talk about Ohio State, when's the last time we looked at LSU and LSU couldn't run the football? The teams that are known for ground and pound are not grounding and pounding the football. What is going on here? Texas A&M, on the other hand, 49 rushing attempts for 242 yards. That is 4.9 yards a carry. So we pretty much can say they was averaging 5 yards a carry, and LSU was averaging 1 yard per carry. 1! This is amazing. This is just amazing. Brian Kelly, just amazing how Brian Kelly, man. I don't understand. Big games. Brian Kelly has these opportunities and he explodes it. I don't know why. Certain coaches get in the big games and they blow it. Certain coaches, you think they should do what they need to do and they blow it for some. Brian Kelly's one of them coaches. This doesn't make any sense. And by the way, let me go on the second half. What I did with the Alabama game. Let me do that with the Clemson game. Let's do it in the second half though, because LSU was up 17-7 at halftime, right? All right, Texas A&M they got a punt. LSU got a punt. Texas A&M got a punt. LSU throws an interception. One play later, it's a touchdown for Texas A&M. LSU fumbles the ball, even though they recovered it. It was on the third down, which made it fourth down. They had to punt it away. Guess what? Texas A&M scores another touchdown. No, I take that back. That fumble was on fourth down. So they actually gave the ball to Texas A&M, where the fumble happened at. That turned into a touchdown. So basically, 2 turnovers, 2 touchdowns. All right. Another interception by LSU, and that turned into a touchdown. LSU scores a touchdown finally. And Texas A&M is right back with another touchdown. Another interception by LSU, a field goal. I want y'all to hear this again. After 3 straight punts, Texas A&M punted twice and LSU punted once. LSU throws an interception that turns into 7 points for Texas A&M. That's 7 right there. That's 7 right there, okay? Then you fumble on fourth down, even though you recovered it. That turned into another touchdown for Texas A&M. Then you throw another interception. That turns into a touchdown. That's 21 points right there. That's 21 points right there. And then you threw another interception, which led to a field goal. 24 points. Basically off turnovers. 24 points basically off turnovers. Wow. What happened in the second half of LSU? What happened? I need to know what happened. That's just ridiculous. Just ridiculous. I don't understand. I really don't. Now, our spotlight game of the week, it was no contest whatsoever. Oh my gosh. Now, the majority of you picked Navy. I went with Notre Dame, and oh my gosh. I expected Notre Dame to win, but I ain't 51-14. It was ugly. When I say it was ugly, it was looking 14-0 at the one. Then you looking at 31-7 at halftime. This is a 31-44 after 3. Man, Navy. I wanted to do my honors and give Navy the spotlight, because when was the last time we seen Navy being 6-0 and ranked in the AP poll, along with Army, by the way, who is still undefeated. I think they're ranked 21, but I have the rankings in the segment. 466 total offense for the Fighting Irish, 310 for the Navy midshipmen, 6 turnovers by the midshipmen, 6. You want to know how 51 got hang up on it? They turned the ball over 6 times. And Notre Dame just turned them into points left and right, left and right, left and right. But hey, these things happen. Hope Navy can pick themselves up and get back on track, because I believe this will be your biggest contest to date thus far. And you probably won't have another big game until you play Army in the Army-Navy game, which takes place in December. Riley Leonard, he ain't even throw for 200 yards. He ain't need 2 touchdowns. Love gave you 2 touchdowns on the ground. It was just a bad game for Navy. And Notre Dame just a better team. That's all that is to it. All right. With that being said, 9-1 in week 9. And guess what? The one loss came to. God darn, LSU could not keep a second half lead against Texas A&M. The other thing else, Boise State did their job. Ohio State survived. Indiana, y'all better take Indiana seriously. Oregon is Oregon. Alabama, even though it's not impressive, they still did their job. Texas survived after a loss. Penn State handled business. SMU survived, and Notre Dame just Notre Dame. So 58-32 on the season through 90 games of picking. That was pretty good. That is pretty darn good. I think I'm close to 65% winning percentage. 65. Trying to get to 70. Make sure it's 70. Typically only had one bad week. That was in week 2 when I went 4-6, and that was the week all types of upsets took place. I also went I also had a week I went 500. So outside of that, it's 73, 6-4, 8-3. Now I got a 9-1 in here. Pretty good. I'm liking what I'm doing in picks so far. All right. And then finally, here are the rankings going into week 10 this weekend. Oregon still number 1. We got Georgia number 2. Penn State number 3. Ohio State number 4. Miami's in the top 5. When the last time the Miami Hurricanes been in the top 5? Shout out to my brother Cool McCain. Your Hurricanes in the top 5. Cole Johnson, Texas Longhorns still in the top 10. They are at 6. As you see, Tennessee 7, Notre Dame 8, BYU. The BYU Cougars are in the top 10. The BYU Cougars are in the top 10. And we haven't played the Holy War game yet. Then Texas A&M also, they round out the top 10 that you see there. And you see Army ranked 21st. Shout out to the Black Knights of Army. Give them a shout out and whatnot. And that will do it for our Gridiron Roundup. All right, we're going to take our second break here. Then when we come back, we're going on the campus tour, man. Time to preview Week 10's hot games.
I love you morons. New Kids on the Block, New Edition.
Dear whatever the law firm is. Sincerely, the U.S. Supreme Court.
Ben Affleck, Matt Damon. Go yourself again, Jason Whitlock.
Whether it's news, the largest egg producer finds bird flu in chickens at a Texas plant, weather, devastating tornadoes rip through the heart of the United States, inspiration, a breast cancer survivor completed the journey of chemotherapy, and now begins a future one of matrimony or sports. Michael Jordan is shown on a photo with Diddy. LeBron James has a video extolling the virtues of a Diddy party. This has been yet another beating a dead horse presentation. We got you covered. BS3 Network, in association with Comey Media Incorporated, proudly present The Morning Shift with Cole Johnson. Live every weekday at 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Central.
Shop hats and official sports gear at Liz. Liz is the leader and number one destination for hats, gears, and everything that moves you, making it the perfect shop for fans to find official sports hats, merchandise, and gear. Represent your team, your town, and your style with a snapback adjustable fitted hat or beanie from thousands of college and pro teams. Browse the very latest sports jerseys and t-shirts from the best teams out there. Liz has officially licensed professional and college sport team apparel and hats featuring the hottest brands and trends. Shop online or visit one of the 100 stores across the country. Locker Rooms by Liz.
Hey, Eagles fan. Join my man Cool McCain and a host of others as they break down every single game, every single week in an objective manner, and also from a fan's perspective as well. Remember, this cast feels just like you. Nobody likes you. And you don't care. Fly, Eagles, fly. Eagles Elite Podcast. Every Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on YouTube and other podcast outlets. Join Ryan McCarthy.
I became a Jets fan because Kurt the Frog was my favorite Muppet because he was green, and the Jets wore green. That's how I became a Jets fan.
And Dustin Henry.
ESPN is cashing all in on let's pay a few personalities and we'll just kind of fill in the gaps.
As they walk you through all of the world of sports from their perspective.
The Albany Empire, it's a literal circus.
No credentials required. Where, Ryan, Say the tag.
where you don't need a press pass to talk sports.
Every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. On YouTube and where you can find all podcasts. Rams fans all around the world.
It's a beautiful thing to be a Rams fan right now. Stafford's back. We're going to see about Cup. And running back Kerryon Williams to a return.
Lend me your ears, or should I say lend Playmaker your ears, as he breaks down week by week everything in the Los Angeles Rams canon.
Number 99, Aaron Donald. Can't wait for 2029 to come to know that you are going in the Hall of Fame, and it should be first ballot, no questions asked.
Join the Playmaker as he breaks down everything Los Angeles Rams style in Ramily Talk on the Playmakers Blog Network YouTube channel and where you can find podcasts.
Hey, welcome back to Band Down the Gridiron. Yes, tomorrow, Ramily Talk. All right. Look out for Ramily Talk, 3 p.m. on the East Coast, you know. Gonna recap the big win against the Minnesota Vikings on Thursday Night Football and look ahead to a big NFC West showdown with the Seattle Seahawks up in the Pacific Northwest. That is tomorrow. Shout out to my brother Cool McCain. Eagles Elite Podcast tonight, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Eagles Elite platform. Catch that on the YouTube channel. And a big shout out to my no credentials required brothers, Ryan McCarthy, Dustin. They did a great job. They had my boy Drew, really Sensei Drew on there. Great show last night, guys. Can't wait to be on there at some point in time. We'll figure it out. But in case maybe no rush. But now that is all said and done, November football will commence this weekend. Hope y'all ready for November football, because that means these games mean just so much more when the month of November gets here. And then next Tuesday, the first ever college football playoff rankings for the 12-team playoffs are revealed. I'm looking forward to that, and I can't wait to get those rankings and then come on here and talk about them and see where we at, look at the things going. But let's get to it, and that's my fact. Let's go ahead and get to it. Our campus tour. Now, before we begin our campus tour, let's look at the standings in these conferences. Let's look at the All Coast Conference, as we call it, because it stretches from All Coast, from the West Coast to the East Coast, to the East Coast to the West Coast, All Coast Conference, but it's still called the Atlantic Coast Conference. As you see here, Clemson at the top at 5-0, followed by the Miami Hurricanes, SMU Mustangs at 4-0. The Pittsburgh Panthers, that's right, ladies and gentlemen, the Pittsburgh Panthers are 3-0 in conference play. They are 7-0 over. They are 7-0 overall. The Pittsburgh Panthers are undefeated. Who had that on their bingo card? All right, so we see who's still alive. You got Virginia Tech 3-1, Louisville 3-2 still in the mix. Georgia Tech out for a strong start. They've been struggling up late 3-3 in conference play, 5-4 overall. And then if you're Syracuse all the way down to Cal, which includes the Florida State Seminoles, you're done. You're pretty much done. I don't see if you had a chance. I really don't give Georgia Tech a chance, but we can see what happens. But if you Syracuse all the way down, you're done. You're not fighting for a playoff spot. You're just not. All right. That is the Atlantic Coast Conference. Let's go to the Big 12 Conference, shall we? In the Big 12, BYU 5-0 in conference play, 8-0 on the season. The Iowa State Cyclones 4-0 in conference play, 7-0 overall. And then you have the Kansas State Wildcats at 4-1. The Colorado Buffaloes, Coach Prime got them boys playing 4-1 in conference play, 6-2 overall. They did take an announcement by Nebraska week 2. They did lose a tough one to Kansas State in Boulder, Colorado, but they still alive for the Big 12 title and possibly a Big 12 a spot in the playoffs representing the Big 12. TCU staying hanging around along with Texas Tech at 3-2, Cincinnati 3-2, West Virginia 3-2. Arizona State 2-2, but outside of that, with your Baylor going on down to Oklahoma, for my Oklahoma State Cowboy fans out there, wherever platform you listen to, if it's Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, maybe you listen later on whatever podcast platform that you got bearing down a gridiron on. Are y'all ready to move on from Mike Gundy? Mike Gundy and the Oklahoma State Cowboys are 0-5 in conference play, and they are 3-5 overall. All their losses came in the conference. As soon as you came in conference play, you're taking L's left and right. What are we doing? Mike Gundy, what are we doing? What are we doing? Now, those of you who are UCF fans like me, I attended UCF, so Gus Malzahn, we not looking too good. 1-4 in conference play, 3-5 overall. What's the deal, Mike Gundy? What is the deal? Oh, and by the way, just for the record, Utah, I expected bigger and better things from y'all. I haven't got it. Y'all 4-4 and overall. Y'all 1-4. Y'all done. Florida State's done. Y'all the two teams I picked to win both conferences. Florida State just god awful. Good gracious. It's not even as a Gator fan, I'm not even having fun laughing at them because it's just so bad. It is terrible. Okay. Utah, I had y'all coming walking in, look finna pin these boys down. The next thing I know, y'all start getting your ass whooped. Jeez. Ugh. Disgusting. Just disgusting. All right. The Big Ten. The Indiana Hoosiers 5-0, along with the Oregon Ducks 5-0. Don't look now, but Penn State's right there 4-0 in conference play. All three of them teams are undefeated, 8-0 for the Hoosiers, 8-0 for the Ducks, and 7-0 for the Lady Lions overall. Ohio State still hanging around 3-1 in conference play, 6-1 overall. You got the final nine out of Illinois 3-2. They took some tough losses, especially that one to Oregon not too long ago. That's a tough one, and another one to Penn State. So them two losses are understandable, but they'll still hurt. 6-2 overall. Iowa 3-2 hanging around. Michigan 3-2 hanging around. Minnesota 3-2 hanging around. Wisconsin 3-2. Surprisingly, Wisconsin's hanging around. Nebraska, you just couldn't win the close ones, man. If you could win a couple of them close ones, we'd be having a different story about Nebraska. But with 3 losses already going to the month of November, I think your chances are slim to none. And that goes for Michigan State, Washington, USC, Northwestern, UCLA, all the way down. Surprisingly, we had a lot of people had hopes in the Trojans making it over to the Big Ten, but they found out Big Ten football is different than Pac-12 football. These boys are bigger and stronger over here in the Pac-12. Maybe if you would have did something and probably beat Michigan in the big house, maybe you'd be having a different season right now. But you lost that game and you haven't been the same since USC. You had Penn State on the ropes in LA. You let them come back and get you. So those 2 games right there, if you're a Trojan fan, like my boy Jonathan Mathis here, maybe you'll be having a different season right now. But Lane Kiffin couldn't get it done in the big house, and he couldn't get it done at home against Penn State. So right now, Indiana, all the way down to Wisconsin. We'll see how that rolls right there. But I like my chances. Oregon undefeated in Big Ten play. I love my pick on that one. And then we go to the Southeastern Conference. Texas A&M on top of the South. Texas A&M on top of the Southeastern Conference. They are undefeated in conference play at 5-0, and they're 7-1 overall. You got the Georgia Bulldogs at 4-1 in conference play, followed by the Texas Longhorns, who took an ass whooping to Georgia. That's why Georgia's ahead of them, not only because they play more conference games than them, but they actually hold their head ahead and win over them as well. Then you got the Tennessee Volunteers and the LSU Tigers all at 3-1 with the Texas Longhorns in the SEC play. Then Alabama 3-2, Arkansas 3-2, Missouri 2-2, Ole Miss 2-2, Vandy 2-2, Florida 2-2. A lot of football left to be played in the Southeastern Conference. Georgia still has Tennessee. Florida still has Texas, Ole Miss, LSU on the schedule. That is a lot of football. Alabama and LSU still got to go at each other. It's a lot of football left to be played. Texas and Texas A&M still got to play each other. It's a lot of football left to be played in the Southeastern Conference. So from Florida all the other Texas A&M, it's a lot of football to be played. It's kind of odd to say because Florida is still alive after the start that we don't have, getting blown out by Miami, getting our ass whooped by Texas A&M in the swamp. Both games in the swamp, by the way. But we went to Mississippi State, handled business there. We handled Kentucky. Our last game that we played was against Kentucky. We handled them in the swamp. Now we got Georgia coming up. We got LSU. We got Ole Miss. We got the death row schedule begins this week for Florida. We'll see what Billy Napier and company will do. But outside of that, South Carolina, promising start, haven't been too well. Y'all just getting y'all ass whooped. Y'all don't have a quarterback. Y'all not big enough to handle SEC football play. Y'all need to do some recruiting on both sides of the ball because y'all getting y'all ass whooped. Somebody in Auburn might be getting fired. Might still be having his worst season thus far in Mississippi State. That speaks for itself. All right. Now that we went through the conference, now we see where everybody stands at. Now let's get to the tour. Because we're going to begin with the 5th-ranked Hurricanes hosting the Duke Blue Devils in a massive game in the ACC. As we saw the standings earlier, the Miami Hurricanes are 21.5-point favorites. And that's mainly because they do have the front runner for the Heisman in Cam Ward. And that dude is something special. I don't know what to tell you about Cam Ward. Cam Ward is something special. We talking what? 2,746 passing yards with 24 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. Through 8 games, this man has only thrown 5 interceptions. This man has thrown 24 touchdowns. He is averaging 3 touchdowns a game. Passing is Cam Ward. And he's not even averaging an interception a game. That's crazy. This is crazy statistics from Cam Ward. And the reason why he's the leading candidate for the Heisman thus far. All right. From there, Illinois hosting the Minnesota Golden Gophers. Champaign, Illinois will be rocking at 12 noon on FS1. Minnesota is a 3-point favorite right now. Minnesota has been doing good lately. You got a big win over USC at home. Then you followed it up with a win out in LA with the UCLA Bruins. Then you come back home and you beat Maryland. While Illinois, they took a loss to Penn State, came back, survived against Purdue. They beat Michigan. Michigan has nobody. And then they went to Oregon and got their butt stomped. So with Minnesota being fair, I can see what's going on. 3-point favorites on the road, which is very interesting. But I don't know. I don't know. Also at 12 in the ACC, Fayetteville, Arkansas, when the Razorbacks are hosting 19th-ranked Rebels of Ole Miss. Can Lane Kiffin get his team back together and do what they're supposed to? They are 7-point favorites. This game will be on ESPN. Jackson Dart has not been looking great. You know, he's closing in on 2,700 yards passing, but he has thrown 15 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. The interception is good. But only 15 touchdowns? You passing, you just under 2 touchdown passes a game. You can't put the ball in the end zone. Something has to give here. Can you put up enough points? Can you put up the points to beat Arkansas? Because last time a team of high power offense went into Fayetteville, Arkansas, and everything. Oh, the Tennessee Volunteers, they came out with an L. Lane Kiffin, would you let that happen to you? You already lost 2 games already. You're hanging on a thread in that Southeastern Conference, Lane Kiffin. So is Arkansas. But we expected Arkansas not to be a threat, but they are a threat. So Lane Kiffin, what you gonna do? Jacksonville, Florida. The Georgia-Florida game. 3:30 p.m. on ABC. Chris Fowler, Kirk Herbstreit are on the call. Should be a dandy one. Both teams coming off bye weeks after thrashing wins. The Florida Gators and the business at home against the Kentucky Wildcats, hanging almost a 50 burger. I think they put up 48, if I'm not mistaken. At home in the swamp against the Kentucky Wildcat team that really doesn't give up that many points. And then you had the Georgia Bulldogs, who went down to Austin, Texas, to take on the number 1 team in the land, and they doubled them. 30-15. It looked nasty. Quentin Ewers didn't know what was going on. Archie Manning didn't know what was going on. It was just a bad look for those of the Longhorn fan base. And to my brother Cole Johnson. Cole Johnson, he messages me right away. He's like, this is like, they are getting their butts handed to them. And they was the Bulldogs, and Kirby Smart came in with a purpose. They suffered an L against Alabama, and they came in with a purpose. So the number 2 team in the land going against their biggest rivalry here in Jacksonville, Florida on ABC 3:30. This should be a good one. Both teams coming off bye weeks. I'm looking forward to this one. Also at 3:30 on ESPN, Texas Tech taking a trip to Ames, Iowa to take on the Cyclones, the 11th-ranked Cyclones of Iowa State. 13. It moved. It says 14 on the screen. I'm looking at it now. It moved down to 13.5. So there's a point taken away from Iowa State. I don't know if that would make a difference or whatnot. Texas Tech, they are up and down. They still like to throw points up in the board, but they're going against an Iowa State team that doesn't allow a lot of points. And they have found a way they can score points. So I'm looking forward to this one. Can the Red Raiders hang with the Cyclones in this one down in Ames, Iowa? Then we head to the Bakehouse, CBS / Paramount Plus with this game, 3:30. Gary Darius, Brad Nessel on the call as the Michigan Rivalries play host to the number 1 team in the land, the Oregon Ducks. 14.5. That is correct, ladies and gentlemen. The Oregon Ducks are 14.5 point favorites over Michigan in the Big House. You know why? Because Michigan can't throw the goddamn ball. Michigan has no passing game whatsoever. Warren has thrown for just under 600 yards. 3 touchdowns and 6 picks. They have no passing game. But they can run the ball like hell. Okay. Mullins has closing in on 700 yards rushing with 7 touchdowns. They can run the ball. Michigan can run the ball. They just can't pass the ball. And guess what? You're going against a team that can run and pass with the Oregon Ducks. Dylan Gabriel closing in on 2,400 yards passing. 18 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. They can run too. James, 800 yards rushing for James, and he has 8 touchdowns. For every 100 yards rushing he has a touchdown with it. So, yeah. Shawan Moore, you have more growing pains coming your way, sir. From the Big House to the ACC's Death Valley, Clemson, South Carolina with the 11th rank. And yes, Iowa State and Clemson are both ranked 11th. Don't ask me why the AP does that, which I can't wait for the college football playoff system, because nobody's going to have the same rankings whatsoever. You're going to be 11 or you're going to be 12, one or the other. So this is the last time I got to deal with 2 teams having the same rankings, because the college football playoff committee don't play that, which I'm thrilled for. Nevertheless, Clemson is hosting Louisville, 7:30 on ESPN. 11-point favorite is the home team of the Tigers of Clemson. They started finding their way. That opening loss to Georgia in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and they haven't lost ever since. Caleb Kubnick, 1,836 passing yards, 20 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Marford, the running back for Clemson, closing in on 700 yards rushing with 6 touchdowns. Clemson has looked a whole lot better. Okay, they're not just winning games; they are doing a pretty good job. We talking NC State 59-35, Stanford 40-14, Florida State 29-13, Wake Forest at Florida State and at Wake Forest 49-14. And then this last game against Virginia, a good Virginia team, by the way, a very surprising good Virginia team, 48-31. So NC State, they gave up 35, but they was already blowing them out. I remember that game. They were blowing them out, and NC State was getting garbage points at that point. So from outside of NC State and Virginia, the 3-game series between Stanford, Florida State, and Wake Forest, they gave up 14, 13, and 14. Dabo's getting them boys right. He's getting them right. And the race for the ACC title is going to be an interesting one. Big test against the Louisville Cardinals, though. Louisville been up and down, but Louisville can score points. They can play defense. They can hang with anybody. So I want to see if Dabo don't overlook the Cardinals as he should. But hey, things happen in college football. All right. Now, there you go. From there, we have NBC's Big Ten Saturday night is in Iowa City, Iowa, where the Hawkeyes will be hosting the Wisconsin Badgers. And it's going to be an interesting one, knowing the fact that you're not going to have Cade McNamara quarterback in the Hawkeyes in this one. As we talked about earlier, dealing with that concussion, it'll be Brendan Sullivan as the starting QB for the Iowa Hawkeyes. And yes, the Hawkeyes are 3-point favorites at home, as they should be. Iowa has been putting up some points, which is odd because I'm not used to an Iowa team that know how to score 40 points in these games. But both teams coming in 5-3. Wisconsin, they're a running team. They always been a running team, so the passing game is not there. How would that run attack fare against this Iowa Hawkeye defense is the question for this one. And how would Brandon Sullivan step in for Cade McNamara? Will he look good? Will he get the receivers the ball when they need to throw the ball? I know Iowa like to run the ball with Johnson. He's closing in on 1,200 yards rushing with 16 rushing touchdowns on the year. So which running attack can do some damage and which quarterback for each team can avoid making a dumb mistake? That's pretty much how this game's go down. This might be your lowest scoring game of the day. Because both teams like to run the ball and control clock. So we could see a lot of runnings, okay? May not see too many passes. I wonder if the over-under in passes should be about 30. Will we have 30 passes in this game? Maybe we should bring it down to 20. What y'all think? Because this is not going to be a lot of passes thrown in this game. This is going to be a run-heavy game right here from both teams. Because both teams want to run the ball, control clock. Physical style of football. This is what you're going to get in prime time from NBC. Now, it could be something different with Brandon Sullivan. We don't know. But if I had to guess, the way both teams like to play football, this is going to be a running game. And which team that can run the ball better is going to win this game. All right, let's head down to Dallas. Good old Dallas, Texas. As the 20th ranked Mustangs of SMU are hosting 18th ranked Pittsburgh. The Pitt Panthers are 7-0, as we discussed. SMU Mustangs are 7-1. SMU is getting 7.5. They are 7.5 point favorites at home. It's gonna be interesting. This team, the Mustangs, they like to shoot out. They like to put up points in bunches. Pitt, surprisingly, they can put up points as well. They put up 38 against West Virginia, 34 against North Carolina. Now they put up a more defensive battle with the California Golden Bears 17-15. But last week against Syracuse, they put up 41. So it's going to be a very interesting. This could be the shootout of the day, the shootout of the week down in Dallas. This could be the shootout of the week. Or it could be one of those number tight games where things happen on offense and defense, and we're just going to be sit there thrilled no matter what. This should be a good close contested game on the ACC network at 8 p.m. down in Dallas, Texas. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the spotlight game of the week. Man, come on. We already know where it is. We're going to Happy Valley. We're going to PA, Pennsylvania, because it's number 3 versus number 4 in a massive showdown in the Big Ten. Ohio State traveling to Happy Valley to take on the Penn State Nittany Lions. 12 p.m. noon kickoff. Big noon is going to be there. College game day is going to be there. Very rarely will you get big noon kickoff and college game day in the same atmosphere. You will get it here. November 2nd, 12 p.m. College Station. Happy Valley. It's going to be rocking in PA. Just know that on Saturday. Here's the interesting part with this game. The left tackle is game time decision for them. Drew Argy is a game time decision for Penn State. So you have a critical left tackle for Ohio State. questionable for the game in a game time decision. You have the starting quarterback for Penn State. Game time decision for this game. 2 massive injuries, both on the offensive end of both teams. Let's see what it says here. Ohio State is a road favorite, 3.5 road favorite. Now, why is that? What puts Ohio State being favored over Penn State? Interesting question there, because when you look at it, look at Penn State, 21-7 over Illinois, 27-11 over UCLA, 33-30 in the overtime victory over USC. That was in LA, and then at Wisconsin last week, 28-13. For Ohio State, what are we looking at? 38-7 at East Lansing against the Michigan Spartans, 35-7 against Iowa, the 31-32 loss at Oregon, and then this past week we went over 21-17 against Nebraska. Now, if Drew Allen does play, that gives Penn State a good chance of winning this game. For whatever reason, as we spoke earlier that I got them about, Ohio State does not have a running game, which is very odd for me to see. Jake Jerkins has 81 carries for 520 yards and 6 touchdowns on the season as the leading rusher for the Ohio State Buckeyes. While Will Allen is closing in on 1,800 passing yards with 17 touchdown passes and 4 interceptions. I'm looking at similar numbers from the leaders of both teams, and I'm trying to figure out how this is going to go. On one side, Ryan Day, the only team he loses to is Michigan at this point in time. He has beaten Penn State ever since he became the head coach. So I got that on the Ohio State side. On the Penn State side, this is where James Franklin becomes James Franklin. He looks on the other sideline, he sees a Michigan or he sees an Ohio State, and they just don't look good. For whatever reason, they don't look good. They look bad and they get beat every single time. So either Ryan is going to find a running game for Ohio State and they win this game, or James Franklin's finally going to break that curse and finally beat Michigan or Ohio State for once in his career. Something's got to happen. It's going to happen at Happy Valley, but something's got to give. Something has got to give, and that is our campus tour. And we're going to push right through it and go right into it. That's right. Let's go down and get my picks for this week in week 10. You already saw it earlier by mistake, but yes, I'm taking the Hurricanes. I'm rocking with my man, Cool McCain, the Hurricanes. I don't think, even though Manny Diaz is returning to Gore Gables, I don't think his team can handle what the firepower that Miami has down in Gore Gables, or shall I say Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. Give me the Hurricanes. Give me, even though they are the home underdogs, I'm rolling with 24th ranked. They're fighting a line out of Illinois to win, defend whole field against the Golden Gophers of Minnesota. That if Lane Kiffin loses this game to Arkansas, he might as well just leave Oxford and come to Gainesville at this point in time. But I don't think he should lose this game. He better not lose this game. Give me Ole Miss. And speaking of Gainesville, unfortunately for my Gator Nation, I am rolling with the Georgia Bulldogs. I do think we can come back and make it a close contested game. And it's not going to be a drubbing like I first thought when I previewed the season. It should be a more closer game. See what Billy Napier does with DJ Lightway. Make sure he runs the ball because he should. And I'm looking forward to see how that Gator defense treats Travis Etienne because he left Gainesville to go to Athens out of all places. So I'm looking forward to that. Even though with all that being said, yeah, I got to pick the Bulldogs. Hate doing it. Second year in a row that I'm doing it, but I got to pick the Bulldogs. That one hurts. Give me the Cyclones to defend the home turf against the Red Raiders. I know the Red Raiders like to put up points, but I think that Cyclone defense can slow them down, and I don't think they can deal with that. Who else? Did you not hear me say Michigan don't have a quarterback? They can't throw the ball worth the damn. Give me Oregon. Just give me Oregon. The way Dabo Sweeney has the Clemson Tigers rolling, man, I can't stop that train. Louisville, it's been a rough up and down year for you. Give me the Tigers at home in Death Valley. Like I said, it's going to be a running game. Which team will be able to run the ball more? I think it's going to be Iowa. And I think Sullivan coming in might do just enough in the passing game so that Wisconsin can't do nothing about it. Give me the Hawkeyes to defend home turf. You know, I had to think long and hard about this, and everything gave me wanting to go with the Mustangs, but something in my gut says Pitt. I think Pitt is going to get that one break. Could be a turnover or a fake punt, something. They're going to get something that gives them that edge over SMU on the road, despite being 7.5 point underdogs on the road. I'm going with Pitt. And for the spotlight game of the week, we went up to the people as we always do, and y'all been voting. I appreciate every last one. I appreciate y'all voting, man. Every week, y'all get out there, y'all vote for these games for the winner. And between Ohio State and Penn State, the people have voted for Penn State. 58.6%, my bad. 40 for Penn State. I'm going the other way. I'm going Ohio State. Until James Franklin can show me he can beat Ohio State or Michigan, I can't do it. This man had numerous opportunities to knock off Ohio State or Michigan, and he just can't do it. For whatever reason, he cannot do it. As much as I gave crap to Ryan Day and them not having a running game and what's not, for some odd reason, I could be wrong because I've gone against the public a couple of times and I've been wrong both times. So I could be 0-3 going this route, going away from what the people are saying. I could be wrong, but something about big games and James Franklin that he just doesn't come through in these type of games. This is a game right here. He win this game, he can go to Indianapolis for the Big Ten title. But Ohio State is in his way, and when Ohio State is in his way or Michigan, he folds. Maybe he don't fold this year, but until I see him not fold against Ohio State or Michigan, I'm going the other way. So give me Ohio State. There you have it. Here's all my picks. Give me Miami, Illinois, Ole Miss, Georgia, Iowa State. Man, I'm hurting when I say Georgia on a week like this. Damn, that hurts. But I got to be realistic. Oregon, Clemson, Iowa, Pittsburgh, and Ohio State. And you see 58.7% of the fans went Penn State. I'm going Ohio State. That's what it is. That's what we at. That is the Bear Down Play 10 picks for week 10. And that will do it for today's episode. Thank y'all for tuning in on the YouTube channel, the Playmakers Bar Network YouTube channel, the Playmakers Bar Facebook page, and my personal LinkedIn. Thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for sharing. Hope you enjoy it. We are in November football when this week starts off on Friday. We're going to be in it Saturday, fully loaded in November football. Can't wait. And then next Tuesday, the first college football rankings come out with the 12-team playoff. We will see who is in the inside track of the 12 teams and who just on the outside looking in that need to do some more things for the rest of this season. Until next Wednesday, ladies and gentlemen, I am the Playmaker signing off. Thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for watching. I'm the Playmaker. I'll catch y'all next week.